Okay, thank you very much. We start now. So this is peer booking. We are here to offer you the best service, and also peer booking is a platform where you can connect to a peer for any sort of service you can think about. So in this webinar, we have in our midst, we have our speaker, which is Mr. Otuo Serebour, and he is the valedictorian for the College of Engineering 2025. So I believe all of you would love to hear from him this evening. So please take glued to your seat and follow us till the end. This is going to be a short, it's not going to consume so much of your time, and it's going to be a very insightful session too. So we delve straight, and today the theme for our session is consistency, mastering complex concepts, and excelling in technical fields. Consistency, mastering complex concepts, and excelling in technical fields. So it's expected that by the end of this session, you're going to catch on all these themes, and it's going to be an insightful one. Okay. So we go straight to having an engaging and interactive session with our speaker. So if our speaker is here, Mr. Otuo Serebour is in our midst. So please, can you kindly say hello if you are here?
Hello, everyone.
Great. Yeah, so we have him here. Yeah, so Mr. Otuo Serebour, please kindly briefly introduce yourself. Although we know you, yes, but officially, how are you supposed to know you once again?
Yeah, so good evening to everyone once again. As was mentioned, my name is Otuo Serebour Opoku-Ware. I'm not a student anymore. You are. However, I was a student just completed last year. As first class student from civil engineering department. Yeah, and as Robert said, they said I'm valedictorian for the 59th congregation. So I gladly accept
Yes,
that.
he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Thank you for a very humble introduction, and that was indeed humble, as you heard him right. Thank you so much, Mr. Otuo Serebour. So you've rightly heard from our speaker. He's actually in our midst. So please prepare your questions. As I said, put down something, anything you want to ask. Yes, this is an opportunity to, ask a question to search a great person in our midst. So we quickly move on to the content of this discussion. That's what you have for this evening, this webinar. What you have long waiting for, you're going to have it so that we enjoy the best from our speaker. He's well prepared for you for any question, anything on your mind. So just ask everything, then we move straight to our first question for the webinar. Okay, Mr. Otuo Serebour, can you walk us through your personal journey in the College of Engineering? What defining moment or strategy set you on the path to becoming a valedictorian in such a highly demanding and technical field? So this is under engineering excellence, and let's hear from our honorable speaker.
Great. So once again, thank you for the opportunity to share my journey with these wonderful people who have connected. So my journey in engineering, I entered the College of Engineering with a very modest background and very modest expectations to survive engineering, because everyone who's engineering really tests the so-called intelligence, right? So I wanted to survive engineering and to do my best. And usually when I do my best, I rise among the best. So I was confident on achieving perhaps a first class, and then going along the line, I was doing quite well. In fact, more than what I expected I would do. And so I started really chasing after greatness, topping the class right from the get-go, and a few times the college as a whole, and then culminating in the valedictorian for the college. it had its ups and downs. I think a week ago, I was speaking to others. I told them I had some very bad lows, and then yeah, but through the highs and lows, we went through it, and I'm now in a position to also share my journey and my story to inform everyone here and beyond.
So actually, what defining moment, this particular point where there was a shift from being a normal student into the valedictorian route? Yes, any special moment that shifted you completely from being just an ordinary student to the valedictorian part?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I wanted to do my best. That was the whole idea of coming into engineering, right? It wasn't really some specific stopping a class or valedictorian. But then when the results started showing, the how do you call it? The department results and then the college results came. And when I saw where I ranked, the first College Excellence Awards, I realized that there were just two electrical students who beat me, right, with some decimals. I'm like, wow. At this point, then I have to stop thinking like an average person. Stop thinking, oh, let me just do, and now start having specific goals of doing very well, right? And doing even outdoing my previous expectations. So that moment really, really changed the way I saw myself in engineering. And now I kept pushing forward to do my very, very best to even exceed my expectations.
Wow, that's very, very beautiful and inspiring. So he got to switch from being a normal to the valedictorian journey when he saw that two electrical students beat him, right? So he started unconsciously, but consciously he stepped into that part. Our second question, Mr. Otuo Serebour, engineering relies heavily on application, not just theory. So what specific consistent method did you use to transition from merely understanding a complex concept to being able to apply it flawlessly under exams pressure? We would like to hear from you from your concept mastery loop.
Good. Um, Practice is really the word, practice. So when I practice, I do not I remember I saw this funny thing on the net. When people are testing prototypes, they do not really try and take it through the worst case scenario so that they don't get, discouraged from the onset. But then that's really the opposite of what I do. Of course, not everyone does that. I try to practice with complex questions. So I don't start with complex questions. I start to try and understand the concept. And once I think I do, I approach the whole thing with a very competitive mindset, trying to um, attempt complex questions as many times as possible. And one thing I always tell engineering students is that very well engineering is very technical, maybe the most technical discipline you could ever choose, right? So do not pile up. You see, even when you approach it step by step, it's still challenging. And the worst thing you can do is to pile up, because if you do pile up, you definitely will be overwhelmed. And that happens to a lot of students. At the end, they just settle for anything. So that's something I always avoided. I wasn't a person who was able to study every time as I wanted to do, but then I made sure that I would not pile up, right? So that it won't be overwhelming, and I'll attack it step by step, one after the other, one at a time. And then that really helped. That really helped. So that even very daunting things, because I was able to break it down step by step, it helped to make it less daunting.
That's so beautiful. So he never piled it up. But please, can you briefly or shortly give a recommendation to somebody who has mistakenly piled up? I would say something brief or any short tip for them that how do they catch up? Like,
Unfortunately, do not pile up, but then it looks like majority of students pile up. Uh, Even me, I piled up a few times, but not very much, right? So at this point, if you have piled up, and I hear you have how many weeks to exam? Just less than 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, less than
Start.
two
You see,
weeks.
the best time to start is now, right? Do not keep piling up. Do not keep piling up. Start now. Develop a plan. Like that is the importance of a plan cannot be overstated, right? So develop a plan. Look at which of the courses would require a lot of time, right? Of course, not all courses are on the same level. Even the credit hours can give you an idea. And then also some courses are easier to catch up than others. The ones that are more difficult, instead of pushing them to the last, start with them, right? And I feel like at times you can even block out a whole day. You can look at, it's not a good advice anyway, but then if you are pushed to the corner, you can block out a whole day if there aren't so many very quote unquote very important courses. You could block out that day and try and catch up. Try and study as much as possible. That works for me because I do not like segmented studying. It makes it look more demanding than it is. So if I'm able to block out one day and I can get to, let's say, the middle of the course, it's better than doing it you know, bits and spreading over several days. So start as early as you realize you are in academic danger and have a plan. Which of the courses to cover first, how to cover them, how many slides do you have, how many pages, right? And how you can get them done before the D-Day. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so starts now, starts now, starts now. Yeah, so now with our problem solving practice and for calculation heavy courses, how do you structure your practice sessions? Because you made mention of practice from the beginning. So now, was it was it better to attempt a vast quantity of problems or to deeply analyze a select few? And how did you manage time effectively during technical exams?
Good. So, almost most of the engineering courses are calculative heavy, right? They're very calculative courses, and some of the calculations are not always so straightforward. They make sense at the end when you understand, but understanding at times takes time. So, what I do, this is how I approach those very technical, calculative courses. I first try to understand the concept. Like understand the concepts, the most important thing. What's the concept? The underlying principles. Can you understand it in a way you have previously understood something that was similar, right? You know, so doing that, understanding what concept this whole course is based on, right? That's the key. That's the first thing to do. And then after understanding the concept, I try to understand how the concept translates into the calculation steps, right? So maybe on the first step, you do this, you do that. How does that relate to the broad concept? You understand? So, okay, this is the concept. You are dealing with fluid mechanics. This is how fluids behave. Okay, so that's why we do this first. Okay, you understand? So after understanding how the concept relates to the calculative steps, then what I do, very basic, go through a solved example. Perhaps I'm someone who likes to write a lot, so I put down notes. Very important things lectures. If people feel lectures are not important, but then it's wrong. The lecturers know a lot, right? So I try to take down notes. So go through the steps the lecturer solved, try and understand how it relates to the concept, go through it again until I understand, oh, so this is how this thing works. Then I try and solve that same question again until I know that, okay, I can solve it on my own. I attempt a similar question, right? Not so different from the whole idea of that question. Then once I'm able to solve it, then I approach a complex one, something that is so different from the ordinary. I solve it. Once I get it, I solve another complex question. So I try to find the different ways the concept can be applied. And once I think I have exhausted those ones, I'm good. I might not even solve any further questions, not even open a single pass question. But then once I know I have grasped the concepts, I'm good. If I have extra time, I can just skim through the past question to see, okay, they can twist it this way or that way. So I approach it more of depth right, than breadth, not the many past questions that you attempt to show you understand. If you go deep and understand the core concepts, any question at all can be a past question because you understand it very well. Yes. And during the exam, to try and move, I always make that mistake at times, but then when mostly in midsem, because midsem comes at a time where you are very, not really settled. Right? I don't know. That's how I felt. So at times you make the mistake of dwelling so much on one question you feel you should be able to solve. If you are spending too much time on a question, just leave it and go. Most cases, when you leave it and solve the other ones that are easier, you come back knowing, oh, these questions are done. You are less anxious and nervous, right? And you are better able to think and solve those complex ones. So do not waste time on a question. If it's giving you headache, drop it, go over and come back. Yeah, so that's how I was able to finish most of my exam. It's difficult to finish engineering exams, but I try to. Mostly I finished right on time or just at times 2 minutes before. Yeah. I don't know if I exhausted your question, Robert.
Oh, great, 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 great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So please, no anxiety, no anxiety. And as you rightly said, don't just be solving chunk of past questions just with the mindset that past score is going to come. Please understand the concept, because once you understand the concept, you're on the safer side. So we win a free call where it's $50 with Otuo on peer booking. So please, there is a link here. Please tap on the link. It will also be pasted in the chat here. So kindly follow the link and you can win a free call. That is a special one-on-one with Mr. Otuo Serebour. So we move on with our few questions left. For so navigating mid-semester struggles. Technical courses often have curveballs. If a mid-semester test exposed a gap in your knowledge, what was your step-by-step strategy for immediately addressing and filling that gap before the end of SEM?
So midsem, I feel like usually midsems are more difficult contextually, right? More difficult than end of sem. Not the content, but then when it gets you, right? You enter the semester just when you are trying to settle into the semester, 1 week to midsem, you have to quickly understand, force yourself to understand concepts and then prepare for the midsem. So most of the bad examinations I had were midsem. Remember, there was one particular midsem that got me very. No, it wasn't just one. There was another one. Yeah, so there were a few midsem that were very discouraging, right? So it's a wake-up call, right? Perhaps you felt, oh, this course was really within my ability. I understand this very well. But then you get to the midsem, you realize that you should have solved questions more intentionally, right? You should have taken note of some mistakes and other things. And so right after the midsem, Charlie, you've messed up. So you have to sit up. And it shouldn't take long because you might even forget where you messed up. Because most of the examination, engineering exams, you don't get your questions back, right? So right where, this is what I do. When I do an exam, I'm able to mark myself before I even submit my paper. I know which ones I'm getting right and which ones I'm not really getting. So the ones I'm sure I wasn't so confident on, I come back quickly and check where I messed up. And I make sure that I do not repeat it. I make sure that I develop, uh, a solution to it immediately, right? And then I devote more attention to it. It's more like a revenge for the end of sem. You understand? If you've played football and Champions League, you play a home game and you lose. When you're going for the return leg, you do not go with the same mentality. You go with a more killer mentality, and that's something I do with the midsem.
Yeah, so if you're on this page and you haven't signed up yet, kindly sign up and make sure you share it to your friends. And you're going to have insightful conversations and sessions. But please do well to make sure that you are winning a free call worth $50 tonight, and you're going to have a very personalized session with our speaker. So far, I think you've heard a lot, right? So if you've had a couple of few tips, I don't know if you were jotting, but I realized that you had a couple of stuff so far. Please, I don't know, one key thing you've heard this evening. If any one of you can share just one thing you've heard special, one special thing, as our speaker is still working on this to join us. We are almost done. Yeah, let me just few things to just wrap up. We are done. We are done. We're supposed to finish 7:30 and we are done just because of the technical glitch. Yeah, so I can see Samoa Santi. Please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and you give us one take off this evening that you've heard from him.
Oh, okay. So he was like, we shouldn't be piling up what we learn, our learning materials. We shouldn't pile them up.
Great, great, great. Cephas, what do you have to say?
Okay. I heard him talking about how we can have bad midterms, right? You will not be expecting it that much, and then it happens. And so you said that you should make that comeback. You should plan, you should strategize your learning very well so that you can make it up for the end of term. So yeah, that's what I'm also picking.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So Valedictorian is saying that he encountered midterm breakdown. So please don't feel that you are lost. Yeah. I can see Mano wait. Please, can you let come on board? Can you hear you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So, he spoke about not focusing on breath when you are solving, when you're preparing for exam, especially. You see how some people would focus on solving many past questions. It was like it's better to go in depth on the concept and understand it perfectly rather than just chasing past questions. So that's one thing I took. Yeah,
That's
thank you.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. So don't chase Pasco alone. Yeah. Just make sure you understand and blend it with the Pasco. Yes, Janet Otton, I think you'll be the last person for us to hear you on board. Kindly let us hear you, Janet Otton, last person.
Okay, so I heard him saying that we should try our hands on complex questions, like more challenging questions, just to keep our minds active. Thank you.
Great, 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 great. So we are ending soon. We are ending soon. And interestingly, the winner for our session, who is going for the $50, is no one other than Fifi Sechi. Yeah, Fifi Sechi. So you are the winner for our session today. And you'll be having a free $50 booking with Otuo Serebour, who was just right here with us. Yeah. So at this point, please type in all the questions that you have. Please type in all the questions that you have and put it down. We just want to take some few questions here. So we have it here. Kindly sign up if you haven't done so. And so congratulations, Fisechi, for making it for this session. We appreciate you joining. And
Hi, Robert.
good, good. Yeah. So our speaker is back. So yes, I think he has to wrap up with the last thing, then he goes away. We are done. So sorry we've exceeded the 7:30 mark. So let's summarize all that we had to say. I think can we get the last question so that he can just wrap up everything, then we leave here right away. Good. Yeah. So, what is the fundamental difference in approach between a student who simply passes and one who consistently excels in a STEM field like engineering? And what advice do you have for maintaining motivation during long project phases? So, we want the top student mindset this evening to take away just something quick for us to take home. If we didn't even remember anything, there should be something we should be able to remember.
Yeah, so I hope you can hear me this time.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the hitches. So you see, in school, in class, you get to meet with people with different mindsets. One thing I realized with people with very, I mean, average achievers was that they accepted anything. They did not have any clear goal as to where they wanted to be. So if they have 40, they're okay. If they have 50, they're okay. If they have 60, they're okay. But then high achievers only want the best. There's no settling for less. they never get satisfied with the present, even if it's the best. And they have to be balanced. At times, you keep chasing something that is fleeting, but then, I mean, that's the downside of wanting to be the best. You at times you find it difficult to appreciate what you have, but you shouldn't always do that. But then that's one trait of high achievers. They do not settle for the less, and they never get satisfied with the present, even if it's the best. Let's say you've topped your class first semester, second semester, third, and you relax. No, high achievers do not think that is the whole point. They believe they can always do better. They always try to outdo themselves, and always willing to make sacrifices to remain at the top. So if you are a high achiever, or if you aim to be a very high achiever, then I think you got the traits. Do not settle for less. People might, oh, what's the big deal? Oh, but then you know what you want, so go for it, right? If you can have 100, go for it. If you can have 95, do not get a 90, right? Or an 80. Just do your very best at everything. And I'm sure whatever it is that you want, that motivates you, you will get it.
Good. Thank you so much. So go for the best. Please don't limit yourself. Just go for the best all the time. Don't settle for less. And I believe everyone on this call will surely go for the best. Thank you so much, Mr. Otuo Serebour, for your time. And we hope seeing all of you tomorrow, meeting the only female valedictorian for our batch. Kindly write in your questions in the in-call messages. And as we have brought the meeting to an end. We thank you for your time and also for explaining. I hope that everybody is going on with something. So if you want to have further calls, if you want to have an interactive session with Mr. Otuo Serebour, please make sure that you book on the peer booking platform, right? Yeah. So thank you so much once again, and we hope seeing you in tomorrow's session. Bye bye, everyone.